できました。Oh, now we can build it together. こっちはこっち、よいしょ。こっちはこっち、頭はあれ、頭もあれ、頭装着するとこれがずれるぞ。あ、こういうこと、こういうことか。で、よいしょ。こういうことか。Like this。上半身出来上がり。お、そろそろしんちゃん。
어떤 상황에서도 진심을 다해주길 바랄게. 기이한方ではありません。残っている学生はいないでしょうね。そのように広がらないように。これくらいなら使い物になりそうではないですか。器用な方ではありません。深呼吸をすると頭がすっきりしそうです。少しほこりをかぶっていますね。これくらいなら使い物になりそうではないですか。すべてのものには何らかの使い道があるはずです。使えそうですね。間に合わせになら良いのではないでしょうか。それなりに見えませんか。その足首を捕まえました。その足首を捕まえました。やっと要領がつかめました。このような運命にならないように。これくらいなら使い物になりそうではないですか。使えそうですね。次はこのような運命にならないように。かなり満足です。少し埃をかぶっていますね。運命を受け入れてください。良い場所に行かれたでしょう。誰かがここを訪れたようですね。その足首を발전지대가 줄어들고 있어.間に合わせになら한 명이 사라졌네. のではないでしょうか。運命を受け入れてください。少し埃をかぶっていますね。制圧します。누군가 죽었어.制圧します。 はしていません。逃げ出すことが難しいかと思います。流れることができないでしょう。広がらないように。한 명이 사라졌네. やっと要領がつかめました。波の音が心地よいですね。少し止まっていっても良いのでしょうか。少し埃をかぶっていますね。それでも形がだいぶ良くなってきたのではないでしょうか。誰か見えれば探しに行かないといけませんか。運命は私をどこへ導くのでしょうか。運命を受け入れてください。このような運命にならないように。制圧します。금지구역에 정해졌어. 가까이 오면役を避けることができるでしょうか。運命を受け入れてください。한 명이 사라졌네. 周辺には気をつけましょう。流れることができないでしょう。制圧します。その足から사라졌네. 이제 10명 남았어. 流れることはできないでしょう。流れることはできないでしょう。流れることはできないでしょう。誰か隠れていそうですね。한 명이 사라졌네. 運命を受け入れてください。
気をつけるぞ。
流れることができないでしょう。
ふざけてんのか。
その足首を捕まえました。사라졌네. 안전지대가 줄어들고 있어. 号は終わりません。
クレジットに入ったかな。でバズーカを C23。クレジット出ました？皆さん当てられました？ PCB. PCB と D9。あれ D9。これが This goes here. Is that correct? I hope that's correct. Yes, that should be correct. で PCB go.
You think ADHD?
No.
We have that in common too. Every single day on the chat, I'd be screaming. I think that's why. That's what makes streamers entertaining is like ADHD. But I think it's just a quick thinking brain, right?
I think ADHD is a little bit more. We have a little bit more of a sophisticated understanding of it than just like quick thinking brain.
What's your understanding?
But
of it?
damn, I don't know how deep you want to get into it. People that have problems regulating the executive functions of their brain, so like assigning like tasks or figuring out like what you want to be working with or thinking about at a particular point in time. Seems like people with ADHD have a really big problem doing that. Although they can hyper focus on some things if they are interested, but otherwise they get distracted really easily, have a hard time focusing on things that otherwise.
Yeah, but
people
is
would
that
have
really a
hard
mental disability, or is that just a? Yeah, I see that as a superpower.
Sure. Well, I mean, if you're lucky enough to be a fucking video game streamer that can play games and run around and talk to people, it's probably a superpower. But if you're trying to study for something in like an engineering degree, it's probably gonna fuck you hardcore, right?
Yeah,
So,
you
like,
were really bad at school.
what's either like a superpower or not is probably gonna depend on where you're at in life or like what situation you're in, right?
Did you drop out of school too?
Out of college, yeah, because I was working too much.
Oh shit. Working too much on what, streaming and everything?
Fuck no, it was a fucking food service in a casino.
Oh yeah. And how did you
Yeah.
like being a service person?
It was fucking horrible. Dealing with people as a service worker is like the worst fucking thing in the world. People are disgusting, horrible creatures that are just, you never want to have to deal with them. You don't have to.
What's your I heard a couple things that we have also have in common. You said that you're in an open relationship.
Yeah.
How does that work? Is it open on both ends or just open for you?
Open on both ends. We just fuck whoever we want to fuck.
Nice. Well, how do you deal with the jealousy of that?
I don't really feel jealousy. If I felt jealousy, I wouldn't be in an open relationship.
Yeah. I had problems with that, and then I ended up just saying like, okay, I can fuck other people, but you can't.
How do you get a girl to agree with that?
I guess just a lot of explanation. And teaching her fuck other people. Yeah, I had problems with that, and then I ended up just saying like, okay, I can fuck other people, but you can't.
How do you get a girl to agree with that? Unquote red pill have like, oh yeah, I believe the truth. Like everybody will say that. Oh yeah, I'm not biased. Well, meanwhile they're like super partisan hacks. So I mean, there's that, and then I mean, I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with like a show of solidarity. Like, what was the name of the Minecrafter guy that just died?
Notch? I don't know. You're the Minecraft guy.
Not Notch. Fuck. What was there was some huge guy. He died at like 23 of cancer. Super sad. Technoblade. Yeah. Like I don't know if it matters if you tweet out like "Rip Technoblade," like he's dead, and it's not like you're gonna bring him back. And I don't know if the family like necessarily cares about your random tweets, but like showing solidarity is a very human thing. We want to feel connected to other people about issues that we feel connected to.
Yeah,
So
but we
I
all
don't
like
think
have
there's
this
anything
fake empathy on the internet now, and it's like you get demonized if you don't participate in all the fucking fake. Like if you don't post a black square on Instagram, then everybody's on your ass calling you racist. It's like, am I really racist, or did I just not post a black square on Instagram?
Yeah, I mean, like that is a thing for sure. But I think on the other end of it, like it's not necessarily the worst thing, right? Like you can, like for some issues that historically don't get very much support, like seeing other people that are willing to vocally support you can be a good feeling. But I mean, I'll agree too that it goes pretty far sometimes where a lot of people will, you know, virtue signal about things they support and they don't know fucking anything about it. There's probably half the people with yellow and blue flags in their profile don't know where Ukraine is on a map. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's like the human condition, especially on the internet now, where you're inundated with a fuck ton of information and you're expected to have a position on literally every single fucking issue.
Yeah, people
that is always
you
going
need to have
on
a stance,
constantly.
and if you don't
On
have a stance, then you're
everything.
part of the problem. But then, who are you usually debating with? I see that you're arguing on Twitter all day. You have a lot of like you argue with politicians. You're you know, you're really like involved in big debates. What are you usually like? What are your strong
people in the world? I think psychologically right now we use like the Big Five personality index. Some people like Myers.
この運命、神様のおぼし召しなら。
Briggs. Brittany likes to organize people into what she perceives as different levels of introspection. So, I mean, like, insofar as she enjoys doing that, I think that's fine. I don't know. I don't have strong feelings about it. I'm probably never going to use a system like hers, but I'm not going to sit there and say that like it's the worst thing in the world and it's garbage or whatever. I just don't have a strong opinion.
You don't even seem like you have any strong opinions. I thought you were going to be way more of like have strong stances on shit, but you don't even seem like that. So what are you debating about, and who are you? Like,
wait, hold on. First of all, I got a lot of strong opinions on everything. But when you just ask me a question like, "What do you think about philosophy in this thing?"
No, I didn't mean what do you think about philosophy in general, but like so far, yeah, I'm saying.
But I mean, in terms of my systems, like I'm a pretty easygoing dude. Now, if you want to argue about something like related to like
어떤 상황에서도 진심을 다해주길 바랄게.形がだいぶ良くなってきたのではないでしょうか。器用な方ではありません。これくらいなら使い物になりそうではないですか。間に合わせになら良いのではないでしょうか。運命を受け入れてください。します。その足首を捕まえます。少し埃をかぶっていますね。やっと要領がつかめました。間に合わせにならそれでも形がだいぶ良くなってきたのではないでしょうか。木の影が浮いていますね。血の匂いが広がらないように。大きな期待はしていません。誰かがここを訪れたようですね。少し恥ずかしいですね。運命を受け入れてください。このような運命にならないように。少し埃をかぶっていますね。やっと要領がつかめました。안전지대가 줄어들고 있어. 火の影が 揺れていますね。少し止まっていっても良いのでしょうか。逃げ出すことは難しいかと思います。波の音が心地よいですね。誰か見えれば探しに行かないといけませんか。누군가죽었어。自分のように広がらないように逃れることができないでしょう。制圧します。逃げ出すことは難しいかと思います。血の匂いが広がらないように。誰かがここを訪れたようですね。窓が多いので注意が必要かと思います。運命は私をどこへ導くのでしょうか。少し埃をかぶっていますね。누군가 죽었어。れば探しに行かないといけませんか。사라졌네。運命はその足首を捕まえました。사라졌네。訪れます。
아직 두려워할 정도는 아니야.
逃げ出す。
누군가 움직이고 있어.
次は
금지 구역이 정해졌어.
にならないように。運命はその足首を捕まえました。お香を焚かなくてはいけません。
한 명이 사라졌네.
します。奇妙な岩がありますね。流れることはできないでしょう。
누군가 죽었어.
流れることはできないでしょう。
狩りを始めよう。アバ。狩り
木の
を始めよう。
影が揺れていますね。少し止まっていっても良いのでしょうか。
사라졌네.
その足首を捕まえました。逃れることはできないでしょう。流れることはできない。
사라졌네.
逃げ出すことは難しいかと思います。あなたの業は私が受け継いでまいりましょう。木の影が揺れていますね。次はこのような運命にならないように。逃れることはできないでしょう。制圧します。このような運命にならないように。流れることはできないでしょう。流れることはできないでしょう。次はこのような運命にならないように。
안전지대가 줄어들고 있어.
窓から差し込む光が美しいですね。影で少し休んでいきましょうか。
누군가 죽었어. 모일수록 호흡과 마음을 가다듬도록 대화력이 아직 안심할 땐 아니야. 나쁘지 않네.
かなり満足です。すべてのものには何らかの使い道があるはずです。これは本当に運命です。逃れることはできないでしょう。すべてのものには何らかの使い道があるはずです。制圧します。良い場所に行かれたでしょう。逃れることはできないでしょう。大きな期待はしていません。少し目を閉じても良さそうですね。石ころでも当たればかなり痛いんです。かなり満足です。これは
안전지대가 줄어들고 있어.
運命です。逃れることができないでしょう。不快な金属音が聞こえます。逃れることができないでしょう。その足首を捕まえました。逃れることはできないでしょう。制圧します。制圧します。このような運命にならないように。何を作っていた工場なのでしょうね。運命はその足首を捕まえます。運命はその足首を
아직 안심할 땐 아니야.
やっと要領がつかめました。運命はその足首を捕まえました。運命はその足首を捕まえました。制圧します。どうか安らかにお守りください。
금지 구역이 정해졌어.
移動しましょう。運命は私をどこへ導くのでしょうか。深呼吸をすると頭がすっきりしそうです。運命に導かれた誕生ですね。制圧します。この思いが広がらないように。それなりに見えませんか。逃れることはできないでしょう。どうか安らかにお眠りください。誰か見えれば探しに行かないといけませんか。逃れることはできないでしょう。制圧します。
飛んでけ行くぞ。ちょっとベタベタするぞ。
逃れることはできないでしょう。
슬슬 눈이 뜨겠어.
5人目ですね。
슬슬 눈이 뜨겠어.
木の影が揺れていますね。 安らかにお眠りください。運命はその足首を捕まえました。逃れることはできないでしょう。
차분하게 생각해.
運命はその足首を捕まえました。逃れることはできないでしょう。
잘하고 있다고 방심하는 순간 모든 게 무너질 거야.
Policy position.
No,
So
I don't
for
want to
instance, you
argue it.
got
I
abortion
don't
lawyer.
think that we have anything to argue about because on my I don't
okay.
think it's even worthwhile to have like any hard stances on anything because ultimately we can't change anything. We have no
Safe. One
power.
clear.
We have no control over these issues. So like even if I had
Clear this, right? No fucking way. Oh, one still B. Still here. Ooh. Oh.
That's right.
Back to
It's open.
This guy's leaving, honestly. Oh, wait. Oh, they're droning. No way, they're droning. He won't see me.
Jose,
He didn't see me.
he's not running up.
Come on!
happening?
Come on!
This is stream sniping. I'm not gonna lie.
Wait, Jet.
Got like five monitors.
Actually, get the whole projector.
Fuck it, I'm re-aggroing tube.
Oh my god, this guy's holding for me. This Viper's insane.
They're just holding.
3 T spawn.
Using it.
Chamber hit 80.
Back yellow. They're so good.
I think wherever you are, they use every ability. I've seen them use 6 different ones.
Back yellow.
2 here. 3. Does he even have time? I don't think he has time. Does he?
Ah!
Enemy remaining.
There you go.
Okay, I don't think I can play another one. I can't even. I don't even want to think about Valorant right now. I don't even want to think about this game. I'm done. I'm done. Oh, I'm done. My brain's fried. I.
ここに行くんだよね。で、これがここに行くんだよね。そして B8、B の8。ほっ PCA。PCA がこここんなあ C25 C25 あこれプラモどんどん増えてったらどうしよう。さすがに飾りたくなりそうだな。もうすでに飾りたくなっているんですけれども、これはこっちに入れてよいしょ
この運命、神様のおぼし召しなら。
さくらんぼ 흔들리지 말고 앞으로 나아가야 해.
っていますね。残っている学生はいないでしょうね。すべてのものには何らかの使い道があるはずです。それでも形がだいぶ良くなってきたのではないでしょうか。周辺には気をつけましょう。少し埃をかぶっていますね。少し恥ずかしいですね。それでも形がだいぶ良くなってきたのではないでしょうか。その足首を捕まえました。少し恥ずかしいですね。これくらいなら使い物になりそうではないですか。使えそうですね。少し埃をかぶっていますね。かなり満足です。それなりに見えませんか。その足首を捕まえました。血の匂いが広がらないように。使えそうですね。誰かがここを訪れたようですね。かなり満足です。器用な方ではありません。それなりに見えませんか。逃げ出すことは難しいかと思います。その足首を捕まえました。良い場所に行かれたでしょう。誰か見えれば探しに行かないといけませんか。
안전지대가 줄어들고 있어.
いることはできないでしょう。逃れることはできないでしょう。良い場所に行かれたでしょう。逃げ出すことは難しいかと思います。制圧します。少しまとまっていってもいいのでしょうか。このように運命にならないように逃れることができないでしょう。
누군가 죽었어.
運命を受け入れてください。誰か見えれば探しに行かないといけませんか。夢を見ることなく眠れるでしょうか。すべてのものには何らかの使い道があるはずです。かなり満足です。少々お時間をください。どこかを経由していく感じです。制圧します。これは本当に運
안전지대가 줄어들고 있어.
その足首を捕まえました。
사라졌네.
地面に広がらないように。
누군가 죽었어. 누군가 죽었어. 한 명이 사라졌네. 이제 10명 남았어.
動物も人もここに集まってくるのでしょう。これは本当に運命です。少々お時間をください。どこかを経由していく感じです。その足の気分に乗るな。
この瞬間を残そう。
海に泳いでいるその足首を捕まえました。制圧します。とりあえず逃れるはずないでしょう。
나쁘지 않네.
どうか安らかにお眠りください。何か心が痛くなりますね。ちょっと待って。逃がしはしません。逃れることを
누군가 죽었어.
制圧します。
누군가 움직이기 시작했어.
には気をつけましょう。
누군가 움직이기 시작했어.
どうか安らかにお眠りください。これくらいなら使い物になりそうではないですか？
금지 구역이 정해졌어.
役を避けることができるでしょうか？制圧します。逃れることはできないでしょう。逃れることはできないでしょう。制圧します。地面に広がらないように。逃げ出すことが難しいかと思います。
누군가 죽었어.
その足首を捕まえました。その足首を捕まえました。お香を焚かなくてはいけませんね。その足首を捕まえました。 逃げ出すことが難しいかと思います。その足首を捕まえました。制圧します。安全な場所に移動しましょう。この島で最も貴重なのは静寂感ではないでしょうか。
안전지대가 줄어들고
逃れることはできないでしょう。動物も人もここに集まってくるのでしょう。 し休む時間ですね。運命を受け入れ
아직 두려워할 정도는 아니야. 아직 두려워할 정도는 아니야. 앞으로 2명 남았어.
捕まえました。
流れる아직 안심할 땐 아니야. 나쁘지 않네.
使えそうですね。運命に導かれた誕生ですね。逃げ出すことは難しいかと思います。逃れることはできないでしょう。逃れることはできないでしょう。運命は
금지 구역이 정해졌어.
どこへ導くのでしょうか。どうか安らかにお眠りください。運命を受け入れてください。良い場所に行かれたでしょう。逃れることはできないでしょう。逃れることはできないでしょう。制圧します。逃れることはできないでしょう。制圧します。制圧します。
その程度で勝つのか。
その足首を捕まえました。
その程度で勝つつもりか。
少し休む時間ですね。残っている学生はいないでしょうね。驚異的です。逃れることはできないでしょう。制圧します。
차분하게 생각해.
その程度で勝つつもりか。
눈뜨겠어. 슬슬 눈뜨겠어.
사쿠라
I would have been a big kill if he killed the op.
They have to hunt for the rope,
BCJ
yeah.
actually has a one-on-one on the site right now.
Uh-oh.
There's time.
He
has Wait. Look at that peak.
Are they going to be able to get
Wait.
back in time?
Wait, he has a
Yes,
sign.
here.
No
It's
way.
yours.
Where the guy who's...
He's running.
No.
Oh
Here we
my
go.
god.
So
He
close.
didn't
I think he
didn't
hesitated for a
for that
second. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say the same
Yeah, he
thing.
was like looking around.
Yeah, I think he could have got on a second sooner. Obviously,
I don't think I've seen that.
この運命、神様のおぼし飯なら。
Dodo King. Life on the platform. Everyone, if you're trying to find some.
At Apple, we are focused on creating innovative products and experiences.
Netflix kicked off big tech's earnings by reporting a surge in subscribers.
Google, we actually do have the ability to make more of an impact on people.
Our company is now Meta.
Good morning. Let me show you what we've been working on.
We're going to take a couple of minutes to walk you through how we hire at Google for
Facebook
all of our
is
jobs.
one of the most used
Netflix
products
really attracts
in the history of the world.
to do the best.
I decided to join Amazon because back in college, I was really interested in both stock.
Some stance on abortion. I'm pro-choice. I'm pro-life. What the fuck does that change? Nothing.
Well, I mean, it's going to change who you vote for president. Who
voting
puts in
doesn't
the
do
Supreme
anything. You
Court
really think that voting matters?
흔들리지 말고 앞으로 나아가야 해.
ています間に合わせになら良いのではないでしょうか。良い思い出はありませんが懐かしい空間ですね。良い場所に行かれたでしょう。すべてのものには何らかの使い道があるはずです。それでも形がだいぶ良くなってきたのではないでしょうか。影で少し休んでいきましょうか。すべてのものには何らかの使い道があるはずです。間に合わせになら良いのではないでしょうか。それでも形がだいぶ良くなってきたのではないでしょうか。やっと要領がつかめました。すべてのものには何らかの使い道があるはずです。これくらいなら使い物になりそうではないですか。使えそうですね。少し恥ずかしいですね。逃れることはできないでしょう。制圧します。良い場所に行かれたでしょう。これくらいなら使い物になりそうではないですか。使えそうですね。誰かがここを訪れたようですね。その足首を捕まえました。制圧します。制圧します。すべてのものには何らかの使い道があるはずです。その足首を捕まえました。
証明写真みたいなものさ。
안전지대가 줄어들고 있어.
悩まないでください。誰かがここを訪れたようですね。
한 명이 사라졌네.
これくらいなら使い物になりそうではないですか。制圧します。その足首を捕まえました。いや べてのものには何らかの使い道があるはずです。運命を受け入れてください。かなり満足です。誰か見えれば探しに行かないといけませんか。制圧します。逃れることはできないでしょう。その足首を捕まえました。大きな期待はしていません。
안전지대가 줄어들고 있어.
どこかを経由していく感じです。
누군가 죽었어.
めまいがしそうな道ですね。次はこのような運命にならないように。新発長見せてみる。逃れることはできないでしょう。
痛いぞ、気がしないよ。
その足発長を見せてみる。
누군가 죽었어.
いい場所に行かれたでしょう。
이제 10명 남았어.
ことはできないでしょう。驚異的です。運命はその足首を捕まえました。逃れることはできないでしょう。しばらく本を閉じますね。判明です。用意しました。 話なんです。これで最終章です。逃れることはできないでしょう。どんな結末が待っているのでしょう。逃れることはできないでしょう。しばらく本を閉じることはできません。逃れることはできないでしょう。良い場所に行かれたでしょう。 遊びに来れたら楽しめたかもしれませんね。運命はその足首を捕まえました。すべての
누군가 죽었어.
何らかの使い道があるはずです。制圧します。
안전지대가 줄어들고 있어.
少々お時間をください。どこかを経由していく感じです。
누군가 죽었어.
どうか安らかにお眠りください。その足首に捕まえました。
아직 안심할 땐 아니야.
広がらないように。
이럴수록 호흡과 마음을 가다듬도록 해.
どうか安らかにお眠りください。やっと要領がつかめました。これは本当に運命です。運命はその足首を捕まえました。逃れることはできないでしょう。 運命が授けた贈り物ですね。運命はその足首を捕まえました。
すぐ終わりますから。
制圧します。逃れることはできないでしょう。 します。運命を受け入れてください。制圧します。運命がその足首を捕まえました。このような運命にならないように。
안전지대가 줄어들고 있어.
生死の岐路ですね。不快な金属音が聞こえます。制圧します。私のことが難しいかと思います。その足首を捕まえました。準備できたわよ。見てください。
아직 안심할 땐 아니야.
お眠りください。
나쁘지 않네.
その足首を捕まえ
앞으로 2명 남았어.
制圧します。こんなところにも動物がいますね。世の中には祈りでも解決できないことが多々あります。このような運命にならないように。運命がその足首を捕まえました。使えそうですね。驚異的です。生死の岐路ですね。制圧します。この匂いが広がらないように。制圧します。
금지구역이 정해졌어.
ないでしょう。誰か見えれば探しに行かないといけませんか。逃れることはできないでしょう。良い場所に行かれたでしょう。どうか安らかにお眠りください。何か心が痛くなりますね。逃れることはできないでしょう。その足首を捕まえました。次にこのような運命にならないように。運命を受け入れてください。良い場所に行かれたでしょう。逃れることはできないでしょう。このようにならないように。その足首を捕まえました。その足首を捕まえました。済んだよ。
잘하고 있다고 방심하는 순간 모든 게 무너질 거야. 잘하고 있다고 방심하는 순간 모든 게 무너질 거야. 조급함은 실수를 부르지.
休む時間ですね。運命に導かれた誕生ですね。 何か心が痛くなりますね。制圧します。その足首を捕まえました。次はこのような運命にならないように。その足首を捕まえました。
정신 차리자.
ないでしょう。逃れることはできないでしょう。制圧します。
すぐ片付けます。
少し休む時間ですね。
기회를 놓쳐서는 안 돼.
ここに居座るわけにはいきません。何をしているのでしょうか。
잘하고 있다고 방심하는 순간 모든 게 무너질 거야.
運命より大事なのは私たちの意志です。
The mother of the suspect in former Prime Minister Abe's assassination is thought to have donated around 100 million yen to the Family Federation for World Peace and Unification. Yamagami Tetsuya, who fatally shot Abe on July 8th, has blamed the religious cult for bankrupting his family. He has told police that he thought Abe had ties to the organization. The religious organization said that it returned 50 million yen to Yamagami's mother from between 2005 and 2014.
The Pi Cycle Bottom Indicator. Well, it is flashing again for Bitcoin, and this is a while to recover after this actually happened. So you can see right here, back in December 2018, we didn't actually see the market stage any kind of major recovery until almost 5.5, 6 months. But that just starts to establish us within a range going up between $20,000 to $30,000. It's like we went from $200 to $300 back in 2014. That was a 50% gain from $200 to $300. In the same way that a rally up to $30,000 would be very significant for the market, but it's only a 50% price rally for Bitcoin. You have to keep that in mind when thinking about this. So with the macro conditions remaining in a pretty rough state, we may have the bottom in, but we should also expect that things aren't going to recover immediately from this. Previous Pi cycle bottoms have shown that things don't automatically recover. It does take some time for the markets to build themselves back up. Anyway, That's all I have to say about the Pi Cycle indicator for this video. By the way, if you are a cryptocurrency trader, you need yourself an account over on Bybit. Is the top place for buying and selling, longing and shorting Bitcoin, Ethereum, a wide range of altcoins. They have futures markets, spot markets. You can buy and sell NFTs and stuff like that as well. Use the link down below in the description to start your account, and you're going to get 30% off your fees and up to $4,100 in deposit bonuses. Anyway, guys, that's all for today's video. Let me know what you think about the Pi Cycle top indicator. Is it a reliable indicator for the market? Is the bottom in? Let me know down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching today's video, and peace out till next time.
What do you mean? How do you think people?
Where do you live?
Right
Miami,
now,
right?
Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're always gonna. I mean, that's a swing state. But ultimately, I live in New York. Like, it's never gonna vote anything else than blue. And what about
there are down ballot people you can vote for. I mean, like there.
You know the down ballot people?
Not in fucking New York.
You know the
But I'm
down
just saying
ballot
that,
people
like,
in Florida?
Not for this coming election cycle, no. But I haven't started following this election cycle yet. But I mean, like, down ballot isn't going to be as important. You asked me about abortion in particular, and abortion is going to be a presidential vote. And I mean, some states are going to matter more than others, right? If you're in California, maybe your vote doesn't matter as much. But if you live in some of those swing states, you know, if you're in like Arizona, Pennsylvania, Michigan, like all these states, like it's probably going to matter who you vote for, right?
Yeah. You don't think that all of that is just performative? And like, do you really believe in politicians? You think politicians actually have a say?
Like, do I think they're real, or do
do you think that politicians actually have like in best interest? Do you think they actually care about stuff like abortion, or are they all just saying stuff on TV so that they get more power?
I think they're saying and doing what they need to get elected, which is good. That's what politicians
exactly.
should do.
So then why do you even vote? Like, if you know,
because if you're voting for people because abortion is important to you, then chances are they're going to do something to make abortion legal because that's what's going to get them reelected. So I think that they do things to get more power, and more power to a politician is winning elections, and that's what you want them going after power for, because winning elections means most people voted for them, right? Isn't that what you want a politician to go after? You don't want a politician that wants less power. What does that mean? They're just not doing anything in office because they don't care if they win re-election or not?
I'm just ultimately, I'm kind of nihilist. I guess that's a philosophical stance. Like, there's just, I don't see any point in voting anymore. I don't see any point in investing any mental energy in that, because I'm just one person. My vote has so little power and matters. Like, the electoral college is what elects the politician. Besides the down ballot people, we can't. It's all an illusion. Us thinking like having a stance on something like abortion is just to make us feel good and feel involved, when ultimately it doesn't do anything.
That's like saying that like going to the gym is a waste of time because I went once and I didn't get shredded. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like,
okay, so if
yeah,
you vote
voting one time, if everybody votes in accordance with what they believe in, then yeah, outcomes are going to change for sure. I mean, Trump winning that election was really Trump winning that election was really important. Yeah, you can't vote on your own because we live in a country full of 330 million people.
Exactly.
But like, Trump winning that election is why abortion is gone.
Okay, but going to the gym actually affects your life. You could fix yourself and have immediate results. Voting and hoping that 300 other million people have the same ideas as you is almost pointless.
I mean, if you think that, then I guess you just don't have to vote. But then you're just like doubling the power of the guy next to you who disagrees with you, who's voting otherwise. But I mean, like, yeah, I mean, this is how any large project works. It's always going to take like the buy-in of every single individual working to kind of make sure you're moving towards some outcome. But I mean, like, this is going to be the same of every large project you're involved in. Like, your individual effort might not necessarily.
That's why I'm not involved in
much,
any large. What large projects are you involved in besides voting?
Large projects I'm involved in besides voting. I don't know. I was streaming. I kind of do my own thing, so I'm probably not involved in many at the moment. But
So that's
other
it.
than, like,
The only large project you're involved in is politics.
Sure, but I mean, that's a pretty important project, right?
Chat, what do you think? WRL on voting. I want to see if they agree. I don't know. Personally, I think that's a mostly white idea to think that voting matters. Like, people in the hood, most people don't vote because it's like they understand, or there's a collective understanding that this system is just something that has nothing to do with our regular lives. And if you think about it, like, how different was the world after Trump got elected? Besides what you see on your Twitter feed, was it really that different than Obama? What changed?
I mean, in the United States, a great deal changed, right? Like, so for instance, if we look at Supreme Court stuff, you've got the Roe v. Wade stuff. You've got however many conservative decisions come out of that court.
But what changed in your life besides Twitter? What changed
in my life? Nothing changed. 'Cause I'm a rich white dude. Nothing matters to me, right? I would
Same
argue
thing.
that
I'm the
yeah, but I would argue that sure,
nothing
but
changed
not caring about like shit like that, I think is an example of like, well, you're wealthy, so you're insulated from most of society's problems. But like, if you were one of those people that got, you know, PPP checks, or if you were one of the people that got the second like coronavirus check, the $2,000 of stimulus, if you were the people that on the extended unemployment insurance, like these are people whose lives were all like measurably positively impacted. If you're going to be one of the people that are working for a company that got a job
$2,000, a couple K, they all got it back from the gas price. That shit was nothing.
A couple.
They took away everybody's jobs. They took everybody's jobs away for 2 years.
All, no, not everybody's jobs got taken away. That's
Pretty
why
much,
unemployment.
though.
Not even, dude. People were making more money on unemployment insurance than they ever made working. That shit was wild. Arguably, one of the reasons why we have inflation right now is because of how much money was paid out in UI.
But who got richer? Who got richer from something like unemployment? Jeff Bezos. Amazon stock tripled. Everybody just went to Amazon and spent it on things that didn't matter because they were inside and bored. That didn't actually help anybody.
I mean, the people that were buying products from Amazon that were getting shit were helped, right? Amazon's stock price doesn't go up because nobody's being served by it, right? There's a reason why these companies have such massive prices, because they serve like products to so many individuals, no? It's not like Bezos is making a ton of money out of nowhere. It's because people are buying shit and getting shit for their money.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, people thinking that the government did a good thing by giving us unemployment and fucking stimulus checks was, you know, pretty much just like, it's like a Band-Aid on a bigger problem. They kept everybody inside. They told you to take a shot. You had to keep your face covered for 2 years. I don't know. Something like that didn't completely ruin your faith in a bigger system. That opened up my eyes and a lot of people in my chat to just like, okay, this is all rigged. This is all a scam. We have no control. We're all just like operating in the system and thinking that we have power when we really don't.
Well, what was the alternative? To just do nothing? I mean,
I remember when conservatives to go improve yourself, go to the gym like you said, something like that.
Yeah, but I mean, like the issue is you got a lot of people getting sick and dying from fucking disease, right?
No one died.
Like, I remember
99.9% survival rate.
Yeah, I remember hearing this so often, brought up by conservatives, that there was some estimate in the beginning that like millions of people would die if we did nothing. And everybody, all the conservatives laughed at the number and said it was impossible. And here we are after doing all the things we did like 2 years later, and 1 million people still died. What do you mean nobody died? There were a lot of people that died.
1 million people in 2 years, that's not bad at all. I think more people died because the hospitals closed from other diseases.
If the hospitals were closed,
not the hospitals closed, the hospitals were all filled up from like, that's why
people with the coronavirus, yeah. And that was with us doing all the protective measures we did. If we would have done nothing, it would have been like 10 times worse. Like our protective measures were so like we're so successful, even though we were still getting people sick from the coronavirus. We had like 2 flu cases for like a year, right? And we were still getting that sick from the coronavirus. If we do nothing, what? Then we have what? 2 million, 3 million, 5 million deaths? Like there's an argument to be made that the only reason Trump lost the election is because so many Republicans ended up dying from the coronavirus that they didn't have the votes they needed to win elections.
How many people you know personally really died from the coronavirus?
I had 3 extended family members, but I'm young. Most of my family didn't die from the coronavirus.
Most people, I barely knew it. Even my grandma survived it.
Do you think all the numbers were fake?
Hold on. Did you get the jab?
3 of them, yeah.
3?
Yep. 3.
And the booster?
Yeah, 2 and a booster.
Why?
1 series is 2 and the booster.
Why?
Because I don't want to get fucking sick for 2 fucking weeks with a flu.
You're a young guy.
Yeah, but why would I get sick over getting a vaccine?
Why
would I ever want to do that? That's fine if you're fine, but I don't want to have the fucking flu for a week. Why the fuck would I want that? Why would I ever do that when I can just get a vaccine? It's such a this is like one of the most no-brainer, easiest things in the fucking world for me. Like,
oh yeah.
Would I survive the corona? Probably. I think I just had it like 2 weeks ago. I think I had it. But like,
yeah, why did you still get it even if you got the fucking shot?
Because I felt like shit for 1 day instead of 7.
All right, chat. Most people I know who got COVID who didn't get the shit, they were sick for like 1-2 days. What's the difference being sick for 1 day or 3?
Because sometimes people die, which sucks. Some people had it for a long time, and then some people felt like shit for like a week. Why would I even risk it when I just get a shot? It's like this is like the most. It's fucking free. The government gives a shit out for free. Why not get a free?
No, it's not even free. You know, in New York City, they're still paying people $100 fucking to get it. That doesn't scare you that the government's paying people. They have billboards up. Like I posted on my story, they have like 2 black kids holding a basketball saying, "These are the benefits. I'm glad I got the vaccine."
Yeah, probably because in New York City they didn't want another outbreak where fucking everybody's getting killed. It's propaganda to get vaccinated. You're not wasting yourself in hospitals.
I would say
the coronavirus.
Half the people in the hood didn't get it. They didn't get the shot. Yeah. Why is there no pandemic right now?
Why? I mean, like, weren't those people disproportionately impacted by the pandemic?
No, right now, why is there no pandemic if like half the
I don't know what there is right now. I don't know how many of those people are getting tested. I'm not sure. There might be a lot of them that are sick.
Because you know why you don't know? Because they're not putting the numbers in the news anymore. Because they're not talking about it. There's less fear mongering.
It's there's probably some exhaustion on the part of the public, but we just don't want to hear about it anymore, even if there was, right? Like at some point, even if it's like a literal zombie virus, people are gonna be like, okay, like show me some different shit now. I'm getting bored.
No, if it was a zombie virus, you would see it. You would see the hospitals filled up. You would hear about it. You would know people who are getting sick. Now that they stopped talking about it in the news, I don't hear a fucking word about it, and I'm
We don't
fine.
hear shit
Everyone
about
else
anything because we don't hear shit about it because we don't care about it. I made that statement, I remember a couple months ago on a stream where I was like, damn, dude, like, it seems like we're pretty much past it. Like, hospitals are done with it. Like, that's cool. I got like 20 emails from people that were nurses and doctors saying shit like, bro, this is bullshit. Like, our hospital's been full for literally fucking 2 years. Like, everybody is still working crazy fucking overtime. This is like a few months ago I still got emails about this. Just because you don't hear about something doesn't mean it's not happening.
If it was a pandemic, I feel like you would hear about it. That the pandemic is like, at first when they were talking about it all the time, everyone was so scared we had to stay inside. We were quarantined.
Sure, in
Matt,
the
covering
beginning
your
it was
face.
scary. This was the most infectious virus to ever be on the planet, right? I
Was
think it's
it?
worth being. Yeah, of course. What do you mean? More people got infected by this than any virus in human history.
Chad, you don't feel like they just slapped on another name for the flu?
It wasn't. The R naught of this was like 11. I think at one point, like one person was infecting like 10 to 12 people with this virus. It was insane.
So, but you have no explanation besides like people are just bored that there's no pandemic right now?
Bro, people get bored of like something that could potentially cause World War III in like 1 week. Come on, we know this. What is the attention span of? You should know this as a streamer, right? That like, here's something that I know. If anybody's ever in any big streamer drama or YouTube drama, all you have to do is keep posting for 3 days and everybody forgets about it.
That's the whole
true in the
point.
streamer world. That's true in that's true in the news world too. They're
You're
gonna be
kinda
the
proving
worst
my
thing in the
point.
world. No,
My
I'm
point-
proving my point. They're gonna be the worst news in the world going on. But like after like a week, people are fatigued. They don't want to hear about that shit.
Okay, so
anymore. Fuck it, tell me something
why
different.
did you think that Ukraine and World War III was bullshit, but you don't think like something like the pandemic was bullshit?
Why did I think wait, why did I think what was bullshit?
Why do you think that believing in the pandemic is a good thing, but like investing energy into Ukraine is stupid? What's the difference?
I think investing energy in Ukraine is good. I'm a big pro-Ukraine guy. I support that shit.
Support it how?
Support it as in we should protect the sovereignty of other countries in Europe that are being invaded and having
How
territories.
are you gonna do that?
How are you? I personally, I don't personally. My government does.
Exactly. So how are you supporting it?
With my tax dollars? What do you mean? What are you asking? Who I
You
vote
said that.
for?
You said how we should support Ukraine. I'm asking how you do that.
As an individual American, I guess it's based on who you vote for.
That's it.
That's how our system works. We have a representative
So
democracy.
is that
We
really
personally
support?
vote- Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, of course. The people that you vote for are going to determine the policies that
All
are
right,
enacted by your
but
country.
we
that are
could.
gonna determine how
There
your
was
country-
no vote for Ukraine. We didn't get a vote for anybody who's had a different opinion on Ukraine. And ultimately, if we did, Putin still wants to go to war. It doesn't make a difference.
We don't vote for Ukraine in the same way that we don't have a direct democracy vote on every single issue that comes across the country. But we do vote for overarching ideologies when it comes time to dealing with other countries. So Trump, broadly speaking, was like an isolationist kind of guy. He didn't really want to mess with other countries, you know, even though he bombed Syria. But like Trump would say like, oh, I don't want to do this. And people would say Hillary Clinton is the red line. You know, she is more hawkish. I think that when you're voting for somebody like Biden or voting for somebody like Trump, you're broadly in mind keeping track of like all of these different positions they have. Some are more important and at some points in time than others, but I mean that's kind of how our system works. We can't vote for every single issue individually. This is
So you can't vote on issues. So there's no point in investing any energy into these issues.
No, you vote on people that represent your issue.
But you're also saying that politicians just say things so that they get elected. So they're not even believing in the issues they're saying. They just say stuff and then
they say
stuff and then do the thing that makes them the most money.
They say things to get elected and then they do things to stay elected. Because they should be, because they're representing what should be their constituent interest. I want my politician to do things to keep getting elected so that I keep voting for him.
Name one good politician.
Like a wholly good politician?
Name,
I don't know if I can
name one.
I don't know if I
good
can name.
politician.
I'm not interested in individual politicians. I'm interested in the policies that they pass. Right? Those are the things that I'm interested in. So Biden pushing like the Build Back Better program, I think, is a good policy.
You think
the
Biden's
infrastructure
good?
bill that we passed. I think that he's pushing good programs. I don't know if I would say he's like holistically.
You don't think he's just a puppet from the New World Order and he's just like being fed pills and stuff like that and they're pushing him up the stairs? Like, Chad, how many even speeches have you heard from Biden? I haven't even seen him say a word. He's just like a person. He's just a representative of policy.
Drama between like two YouTubers can't stay private for more than like 3 weeks. There's no way there's a whole new world order of people that are all concocting shit behind the scenes and nobody's leaked anything. I don't believe that. I don't think that's possible. I don't think that's feasible.
Nobody's leaked what?
That nobody's like, we don't know anything about the new world order. That like, I think that if there was a new world order behind the scenes, like operating things, I think we would have heard about it by now. I think somebody would have leaked something.
You don't think something like Epstein's Island is enough proof of the New World Order?
I don't think Epstein's Island proves a new world order. No, that one old guy was a fucking pedophile. I don't think that proves a new world order. No.
You don't think COVID, something like that, the fact that they got everybody to believe in something and that 90%, even you, a young guy, took 3 shots in his arm because he was afraid of like a bad flu, is an example of a new world order?
I take shots for all sorts of shit that probably won't kill me.
You probably shouldn't. Why are you trusting the government that heavy to inject stuff into your body?
I don't trust the government.
Yes,
Fuck
you
the government.
do. You do trust the government because you took a
I'm
shot from
trusting-
them.
I didn't take a shot from the government. I
Yes,
took a
you
shot
did. They're
that
the
was
one
developed-
pushing it.
No, they didn't develop it, and they were not the ones doing the research for it. I
They're
trust
doing
the academic
propaganda for it.
institutions and the hospitals and the governments across the entire world that have come together on conclusions
The
related to
government
vaccine
wants you to get
technology.
it. Yes or no, the government wants you to
probably. But yes or no, would the government want you to get it if it genuinely helped the population?
No, the government does
yes!
not have the
What do you mean?
population's
Wait,
best
what do you
interest in
know?
mind. No.
So a government would want its whole population to die.
No, the government wants to control us as much as possible. That's so we stay slaves.
Hold on. If it was the case that there was a good government and they wanted its population to survive, would they want you to get a vaccine?
They don't care. Like they just want to keep us
Hold on,
controlled.
come on. You
got
got
to
to answer the question.
Say the
If
question
there
one
was
more
a
time?
government, if there
Okay.
was a government with good people and they had our best interest in mind, and they really thought a shot would help you, would that government want you to get vaccinated?
Right, but the government is not good. The American government is not good.
Why?
They
How-
don't have our
how-
best interests in mind. Why not? You trust people like Hillary Clinton?
I don't trust people like Hillary Clinton. I trust the institutions that these people
What
inhabit.
is okay? So who do you trust in the government?
I don't trust individuals in the government. We have institutions and checks and balances.
So
to keep
what
these
what
individuals
institutions
honest.
do you trust?
I trust the institution of the federal government. I trust the institution of the FDA. Like, I trust all of the independent academics and all of the independent universities.
I'm not
and
talking
all
about
the independent
academics. Okay,
private
so you're
companies.
saying I'm not
no,
saying
no,
academics.
wait. No, it's all part of it. All of it is part of it.
But you
okay?
don't
if you're
trust
gonna try to,
individuals?
if you're gonna try to ask me, like, would you trust Fauci on this one thing? Fuck no. I don't trust any individual. That's the whole reason why the American government is set the way that it is. There's a huge checks and balances on every single part of our government, where everybody's incentivized to catch everybody else fucking up. So no, I don't trust one person in the government. I trust the entire institution and the institutions that hold each other accountable. That's the whole point.
It's
Like,
that
you don't
sounds
think- here's
crazy
the
to me.
question.
It's
You
crazy to
think-
me
do you
that you
think-
said that you could trust the whole government, but you can't name me one politician that you think is good. So if they're
That's
all
how
bad,
institutions work. What is the one part of your car that makes it drive? Name the one part that makes it drive.
yeah,
You
I know,
can't
but-
name it because it doesn't make any sense. There's like a whole bunch of different things that come together
But
to make it so that a vehicle can move across the
engine,
road.
the
No, when you
engine
add-
isn't telling me take a shot. The engine
the
isn't telling me
engine
what to
doesn't-
do.
The engine doesn't spin wheels on the ground, right? In order to make your car work, it's a whole different there's so many different systems in your car that keep it moving forward. And the government is the same thing. There's not one thing that powers it, right? It's a whole conglomeration of different moving parts that all interact with each other.
Yeah, but my car is not telling me what to do. I drive my car doesn't drive me.
That's fine, and you drive
The
the
government-
by voting.
the
There's
government-
just a lot of people driving the
No.
same car.
The government drives
Here's
you.
a
but it
here's
takes
a
one
question.
person to drive a car. It takes the whole country, like this
Sure.
illusion that everybody's on the same page to
Okay,
trust
sure.
the government.
Then let's look at where the other incentives are. Do you think that Russia doesn't like the United States and China? Do you think they don't? Okay, if China and Russia don't like the United States, if all the vaccine was bullshit and the coronavirus is bullshit, why wouldn't they be out here saying like, oh look, it's all fake, guys? The American media is lying to you. Like they did that with the moon landing, right?
Because
They're
they
like, "That's
control
not real,
they
it's not
control
real."
their citizens with it too.
So all of these countries that are, do you understand how you're giving me a conspiracy where these people are like working together and not working together at like the same time? Like I can never win, right? You're always gonna have a reason to where, well, you know, everybody's gonna try to fuck over everybody else, but they also all work together at the same time too. Like you think that Russia
No,
would
they're
work
not all
together with
working.
the
There's
United States?
probably a system of most powerful people, these oil money people, these old banks, these old families. The people who control the money control the governments.
Yeah, but even these people fight all the time too. Look at how much American oil producers fight like tooth and nail with fucking OPEC. Like even the oil people fight with each other. So I don't. This idea that there's like this conglomerate of people working behind the scenes in these smoky rooms. I don't think you need those types of conspiracies to explain why companies and people do the things they do. And I think if there were these things happening, you'd have other people trying to call them out. Like if Pfizer was one of the big people, Pfizer and Moderna were like some of the people that were getting these vaccines out and they were fake. Don't you think other private companies would be out there screaming like, yo, these vaccines are bullshit. Yo, this
Censorship
stuff isn't
is
working.
so easy nowadays. They can censor. Yo, this
Well,
actually.
hold
if
on,
you said
hold on,
anything
hold on.
anti-vaccine, they deleted it. You couldn't even say anything
how
against it.
How could, first of all, you can't censor entire countries like Russia, and two, how do you censor other private corporations that have a lot of money? I thought we said money controlled the government. If these other corporations have tons of money, shouldn't they be able to just buy their way out of censorship? Or do you think there's another secret cabal that's not just ran by money and not just ran by countries, but is like the ultra secret, ultra powerful cabal? Like, what are the? I don't know. It's a lot for me to buy into, I guess.
I think you have a lot of faith in a system, and to be honest, like I don't want to. I think it's a race thing. I think white people believe in the government a lot more than other races because it's like this system has worked for you for centuries, and so it's like the belief in the system, it's good. But when you take a step outside of that, you start to see like, oh, none of this is really for me. There's no way that this is good. There's no way that they care about me. It's fake empathy.
Sure, I can understand people having those feelings, like especially if you're in certain minority communities. But like, those problems are hard to fix, right? They're not going to be simple problems.
What problems?
Any like problems related to minority communities, things related to crime. Crime is a really tough problem to combat. Getting good jobs to people who don't have the best of education, fixing broken families. There isn't going to be like oh my God, we finally have like a president from the hood, and now he's going to give us in 4 years the key solution to all of these problems. That's not even true.
Like
a lot of things that ended up a lot of things that ended up hurting black communities came from black politicians. People talk about how Biden is evil for like the '93 crime bill, and he gets mad. People get mad about like, look how they treat crack cocaine versus powder cocaine. The biggest drive for like 3-strike laws and punishing crack cocaine came from black communities that saw crack cocaine destroying their fucking neighborhoods. Like, these are some of the people that pushed for the hardest. And it ended up that some of these like 3-strike laws and some of these criminal prosecution things didn't actually end up helping black people at all. It fucked them over more. These are really complicated problems to fix. I don't think it's that easy.
Okay, if you grew up in project housing and the water doesn't work and the AC doesn't work, why would you think that voting on a specific bill matters at all or has any effect in your life when the place you grew up in doesn't even have proper AC because they put specific people in those buildings? How could you have bigger faith in something like Biden and this? Like, all of this is just like noise. Unless you're white. If you're white, then you're like, yes, the policy's good. Like,
I can understand,
that,
but like,
just meaningless.
Sure. Let's look at the flip side. So then let's look at the reality. You've got project housing, okay? Fuck voting. Voting doesn't do anything. Who's the most likely person to say that? Minorities, young people, poor people. Well, who's left voting?
And rich people.
Old
rich
people, white people, and rich people. If those are the only people voting in local elections, why the fuck do you think anybody's going to care about marijuana laws?
Do you think, why the fuck do you think anybody's?
Why the fuck do you think anybody's going to fix the hood? Right? If the only people voting are Joe Schmo, who's 75 years old and golfs every Saturday, Sunday, you think that the hood is getting fixed? Of course not. You're creating a self-perpetuating system where the only problems that are going to be addressed are the problems of old rich white dudes because they're the only ones that bother to show up and vote. And you better believe these motherfuckers vote. They vote religiously. I think.
Chat, what do y'all think? What do y'all think? I think eventually. Who do you think did 9/11?
Probably Osama bin Laden and his compatriots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't believe in any conspiracy?
I mean, there are some conspiracies.
What conspiracies do you believe in?
The Iran-Contra deal happened. Like, I mean, there are, like, we've probably tried to coup or overthrow some governments. It happened in Iran with the whole oil shit. Like, I mean, like, there are things that happen, of course. But I think that here's what I don't like. Okay, this is what I don't like. I think that I get frustrated because I'm not saying you do this, but people will point to people like me and they'll go, "Oh my God, you're so dumb and lazy because you think the system fixes everything." I don't think my answer is dumb or lazy. My answer demands a lot of work. It requires you to be politically active. It requires you to continue to vote in people that are going to represent your interests, and it requires you to be informed.
Don't you think this is just like a good hobby of yours?
On the flip side, the other answer is, oh, nothing can be fixed because voting doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
Oh wow. So what do you, so then what do? You do nothing to fix any of the problems.
You focus on yourself.
And then you blame. That's easy for us to say because we're multimillionaires and make money doing fucking YouTube videos, right? But focusing on yourself is hard if you've got a mom working 2 jobs and you've got to take care of your fucking siblings and you barely get out of high school because you don't have time to sleep at night, right? It's really hard to work on yourself depending on where you're at in life. I don't like the idea that
just because it's hard doesn't mean people shouldn't do it.
But not everybody can do it.
Yes,
that's
they
not
can.
A realistic,
no,
that's
stupid.
Not a realistic expectation.
Not everybody can work on themselves.
Not everybody can pull themselves up by their bootstraps. And it's bullshit.
I didn't say that. I'm saying work on yourself. I'm
yeah,
saying,
but who are you telling to work on yourself? The dude that's coming from a broken family who's never seen
I'm
his dad
saying
before,
that-
or a guy that can listen to a YouTube stream? Of course,
look,
all of our
maybe
audience is
the
going to work on
reason
themselves.
I think that the reason that you have like all this knowledge about policies and everything is because like you get to talk about it all day on stream, and that's your stream thing, and then people watching it, they feel smart, they write down their policies and stuff like that. But that's in a way a privilege because you have a lot of time.
I agree,
to do
100%. I agree. Yeah, of course.
Same thing with Hassan. Hassan Abi lives in a fucking $1 million mansion, like nice cars and shit like that. He's talking about socialism and how we should tax people more. He gets rich talking about policies. And ultimately, if he wasn't talking about it, he was just voting every time. Blah, blah, blah. He's doing nothing. The only reason it sounds cool and it sounds like it's important is because that's his job.
Sure, you can have a separate conversation on like what is the responsibility of different content creators in terms of should they be doing more with their money, but that's a totally separate conversation from does voting do anything or should we advocate for people to vote?
Yeah, specific policies and stuff like that. It's just, I don't know. I don't even see that as a good enough reason to go tell me to go out and vote. Because you also don't believe that, you also saying you don't trust any politician. They're inconsistent, they follow the money, they're all power hungry. The policies they say now, it's all stuff they say to get elected. So if they're saying that to get elected, then how should I trust them?
Do you trust people that knew you? You got a big channel. You ever signed a contract before?
Yeah.
Why? You don't trust
get
the guy
money,
you're working with?
to
Why?
make
You don't
money.
wait, you don't trust any of the people you work with? Why would you just sign a contract?
Yeah, I work with them. It's for my personal benefit. I don't get anything out of voting besides
yeah,
a
but
sticker.
I'm asking you, why the fuck would you sign a contract with somebody you're working with unless you don't trust them, right? That's the same type of thing where you're saying like you don't trust an individual politician. Of course, I don't trust an individual politician just like I don't trust an individual business. That's why you have a whole system of checks and balances.
Well, that's a bad comparison because when I sign a contract, I get paid off of it.
Sure, the only difference is you seem to have trouble understanding that like voting requires a buy-in from all of society. You can't have one vote that like determines like this is the one guy that gets to vote on the next politician. That's just not how it works.
I know, so
but I mean, like,
my bigger point is that you having all this knowledge about everything, the most power you have is one vote in a country of over 300 million.
that's how our project works. How else should it go? Like how else could you possibly do it?
So investing that much energy into like learning about all this stuff and everything is really meaningless because your vote is so fucking useless.
I mean, you can influence the friends and family around you. You can work at a local level. If you work at a local level, you've got a lot more political power than just your one vote. You can go to your city council meetings. You can talk to people about like housing projects.
City council? You really think that's a good use of people's time? You said
that is a better use of people's time than doing anything.
I'm saying people should focus on themselves. And you're saying like, oh, you can't just tell people to pull themselves up by the bootstrap. You're saying that people should invest their time into local elections?
First of all, local elections are more important than federal ones if you care about things like criminal justice, right? President can't do shit about your chief of police or anything related to that, right? That's all coming at the local level. If you've got problems with like affordable housing being built, if you've got problems with how your state runs, like Medicare or Medicaid, like these are things that are going to come down to your local, state level, or sometimes city level in terms of policing, like politicians. Yeah, of course that's important. But like, listen, I'm not going to say that you shouldn't work on yourself too. That's like even arguably working on yourself is even more important than your political engagement. But it doesn't have to be one or the other, I think.
I just think ultimately it's a huge waste of time. And I this is coming from experience. Like I used to canvas and shit like that for Bernie Sanders. I used to knock on doors. I used to do those phone calls and shit like that. And I'm like, bro, I just wasted fucking days and hours going to campaigns and looking this shit up. And I don't really have an effect on it. It's just making me feel good. It's making me feel good. Like it's making me feel like I'm involved in something. But ultimately, I have no power. They have all the fucking power.
You only feel that way because Bernie Sanders lost, though, right? Imagine if you were, instead of advocating for Bernie Sanders, what if you were one of the guys advocating for Trump? You probably feel like you got a whole bunch done. You probably feel like your time was really well invested because your guy won. Like, I'm sorry,
no,
but like,
I felt that way because
every...
don't you think that the DNC rigged it for Hillary in 2016?
Of course not.
No?
No, Hillary had like way more support than Bernie did at every part of that election cycle.
All right, so you don't think the election's rigged?
No, I don't think the election was rigged.
And you think the president really like has a big effect. And if you get off the internet, you're gonna know who the fucking comptroller of fucking Little River, Mississippi, like that's gonna have an effect in your life?
I think it's gonna have a huge effect. These are the people that you see
The
all day.
comptroller?
You're never gonna see fucking Biden when you're however you vote for a presidential election. But like the people that you vote to like do your local policy can like have impacts on the people that you see patrolling down the street. Yeah, it's a huge. I think it's a huge deal. Yes, Or like you can find tales of people that city council projects where entire housing projects will get held up by one old fucking lady that decides to show up every single day.
Okay, what about
and
lobbyists?
She knows the name.
What about lobbyists?
What?
Some people with more money ultimately have the most power. Like you could bribe politics. Money is what sways. Money is the actual power. Money has way more power than voting. That's why that's the argument for focusing on yourself. If you have money, then like what? Stuff like Medicare, Medicaid, who you're voting for. If I have money, that doesn't matter.
Sure. Who were the two richest people that ran in the Democratic primary last time? It was Steyer and Bloomberg. Those guys were fucking billionaires, and they got crushed. They got shit on. So, like, does money matter? Yeah, it can help for sure, but it's not everything. Hillary Clinton outspent Trump, and he crushed her well, I wouldn't say crushed. He won in the Electoral College against her in the election. So, no, money isn't everything. It can help for sure. But, like, of course candidates that win are raising the most money. It's because they're the most popular fucking candidates. No shit they're going to raise more money.
How long did you wear the mask? Because you got 3 shots. You must have been, like, when did you take it off?
Whenever the government said we no longer needed to wear it. So whatever the restrictions are.
Okay, so you
but I do
or
a
you
ton of
don't trust
traveling,
the government?
So it's when you, that question is
all right,
like
but why did you stop wearing the mask when the government told you to?
I wore it when the restrictions and the regulations were on for it. And then when they went away, then I stopped wearing the mask.
Why?
Because that was what the regulation was. I'm a citizen of the government. I have to do what the government says. It's part of being a citizen in a country. Like, you have to follow the regulations of your government.
Don't you think that's proof that you trust the government? If you're like, I'm a citizen and I believe what they say, I'll obey you. Yes, Fauci,
Okay.
Biden.
When you use the term trust the government, right? Like, I trust the government as a conglomeration of institutions.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that I don't trust an individual politician.
Oh, good. I'm not saying that. I'm saying ultimately you trust the government.
Okay, ultimately, yeah, I guess I would say probably
trust the government?
Largely, yeah, I trust the government.
Okay,
Yes.
we fundamentally disagree on that.
Insofar as it performs its functions as the government, yeah.
And you think it was fair that they took away most people's jobs, they shut down the economy, and they told people you cannot go outside, and they set all these lines up, they put little squares on the floor where you could stand, they cut off one chair in the airport, every other chair. That shit all made sense to you?
When we were facing what turned out to be the largest pandemic in human history, yeah, I think it was reasonable.
Okay, and if you believe in the academics and the health professionals, why was that government mandate the switching factor for you to take off your mask?
Because I think the government largely probably followed whatever the recommendations were from the health institutions.
So the government has our best interests in mind?
Not always, but sometimes.
In that situation,
health related. When
the
it came to
government has our health.
stuff,
the government cares about our health, ultimately.
yeah, I think so. In that case, yeah. Then.
You don't think that's a white belief?
It might be, but it's a right belief, so I don't really care.
Okay,
I don't
right
even
is the right
evaluate my
belief.
beliefs based on. I don't even evaluate my beliefs based on which minority or majority community tends to believe in things, right? I'm not gonna say like I believe this is good because white people or because black people think it. Like it's gonna be. I'll evaluate.
No,
it based
I'm saying that maybe you're warped and maybe you believe this because you're white. Maybe that's why you trust in the government to that level.
Okay, last I checked, black people can get sick from the coronavirus the same as white people can. So I don't know what difference that's supposed to make.
Other races do not trust in the government and do not believe that they're right and they have the best interests like white people do.
Is that supposed to mean I'm not supposed to trust in the government like they don't, or what?
No, I'm saying that I'm trying to get you to acknowledge that maybe you have a bias that you're not aware of. Maybe you're.
If I have a bias, it has to be. You have to point out the bias.
I'm saying maybe your faith in government is not actually because the government's good. Maybe your faith in the government is because of what race you are.
Yeah, but then you have to demonstrate where that's right or wrong. You can't just say because you're white, therefore I'm correct. We're incorrect. It doesn't work.
No, I'm not saying you're incorrect. It's not about correct or incorrect. I'm just saying your level of belief in the government comes from a white place.
Yeah, I guess probably to some extent, but I don't think that makes it right or wrong.
You don't feel like a sheep for taking off your mask right when they told you to?
You don't feel like a sheep for blindly listening to whatever Alex Jones, Tim Pool, or Jordan Peterson says just because it's the opposite of what the government says?
You think I listen to any of those guys?
No, but I'm saying that, like, just because I want to listen to, like, an alternative media take that tells me the opposite of the government doesn't make you any less of a sheep than what the government says. I've done a ton of independent research on vaccines and the coronavirus, and I feel like largely what the government said was true. Like, if some people think that's a sheep opinion,
But they also censored everything. All the articles you probably read were manipulated. They censored shit
I don't
more
think
than
that one...
Freedom of speech is dead, Destiny. Freedom of speech is fucking done. If
I
you
don't think
talk about COVID now, they put a COVID warning.
I don't think that one government can censor all the speech across the world. And I think there's a lot of people that would be incentivized to expose the U.S. government for lying about the coronavirus if they were. But I don't see Russia or
if you
China
even
or
said
other
the
private
word,
wars.
if you even say the word vaccine, they took it down. Why did
China could do it.
Why did they hide everything about Hunter Biden?
I don't think they hid anything about Hunter Biden. I think that Twitter had a specific policy where you can't post hacked materials.
Why? If it was Trump's kid, they would have kept it up.
You don't have any proof of that. There was like a few months earlier,
You
there
don't
was like
believe that?
doxing. Hold on. A few months earlier, there were doxing lists posted of like police officers, and those people got banned as well. If you want to post incriminating pictures of people online that they don't consent to being posted, you're not allowed to do that. But people kept saying that they tried to censor off the story off Twitter. Plenty of stories were posted on Twitter talking about it. You just couldn't link directly to the hacked material.
Okay, so why did Trump get banned on social media?
Wasn't the Twitter policy because he was inciting violence on Twitter, and that was their issue?
It wasn't just Twitter. It was all social media.
I don't know what rules he broke on
Why
other
did
social
Alex
media.
Jones get banned on social media? Why did you get banned on Twitch? You don't see that as the same shit? You don't think that you getting banned on Twitch is the same thing as Trump getting banned on social media?
I don't think I got banned for the same reason. No. Alex Jones got banned on social media because didn't he lose a case about like Sandy Hook being fake?
Look,
and they have rules
what did you
so
say
that's
early
probably
on?
why he got banned. Yeah.
The reason you said the reason you probably got banned off Twitch is because you said that Kyle Rittenhouse was innocent.
No, that's why I lost. That's why I lost my partnership, and it wasn't because I said that. It's because
that's
I had
not crazy. That doesn't strike alarms in your head.
My quote was way spicier than that. Okay, that's the
You're
reason
defending
why I got
them for banning you.
I'm not defending them. I disagree with the policy, but like obviously the whole internet has taken a certain shift culturally in terms of the type of speech that they welcome. I'm not going to sit here and defend that. Also, by the way, I'm not going to say that like I think that I approve of the way that speech is moving on the internet. I think it's moving in a really negative way. But that's disconnected and separate from the idea that the government is controlling.
Do you believe that we still have freedom of speech?
Kind of. I mean, more than in
kind
Europe,
of means no, Destiny. If you have kind of freedom of speech, that's not free.
Hold on. If you want to like put a stop here and start another conversation on freedom of speech, that's fine. But this is a fundamentally separate topic.
No, it's the same thing.
The government over.
That's the same thing.
You can't make every topic the same thing because that's the most sensational.
It is under the same thing because the government tells us we have freedom of speech. It's in the Constitution, and we do not.
The problem right now of freedom of speech doesn't even come from the government. The problem comes from private companies. So it's the opposite problem. Right now, the issue with freedom of speech has to do with capitalism more so than it does with the government.
Ultimately,
Facebook and Twitter and all these companies aren't government institutions. These things are institutions that are private companies. If anything, the government tried to stop that because members of government under Trump.
You don't think it's all tied together? Why does the government spy on us?
Let me finish. When Donald Trump and when Paul Ryan and when Jim Jordan, I think, and others. What? What
are you about to say? You just listen more policies.
No. I'm saying that these were guys that tried to push for like Section 230 reforms on some of these private companies and were able to do it. So in that sense, you can't say like, wow, look at what the government did to us. Well, hold on. The government was actually trying to fight against some of the censorship that was coming from corporate entities like Facebook and Twitter. Like these things aren't government entities. These are corporate entities. And the government was fighting against someone who was under
So
Trump.
why does the government get to spy on all your social media? Why does the government spy on your fucking phone if it's not connected?
I don't know what you mean by spy on your phone if it's not connected.
They're listening to everything you say and everything you do every second of the day.
I don't know if the government has the computing power
yes,
or
they
the
do,
storage
Destiny.
for every single thing.
Yes, they do. Chat, no, come on. You don't think they're spying on literally everybody at every second?
That's a lot of computational power. I don't know if they got the ability to do that, Chief.
If they want to, they can. They can look through your camera at any second. They're always listening. They have control over your phone. And you
they can't look through your camera at any second. That's
when
not
the
true,
police want to get you in trouble, they can look at your Instagram. They can look through your Twitter.
They can look at your public.
Messages.
Hold on. What do you mean? When you say public posts like Instagram, yeah, of course.
No, they can look through your private messages.
The problem is that you're
the
getting
police
all
can
of
see your Instagram DMs.
You are getting all of your information secondhand. Okay, if you actually follow tech stories or network security stories, look at all of the fighting that the FBI did with fucking Apple, begging them to let them unlock phones, and Apple said no, fuck off. And the FBI was like, please give us a way to get into the phones, and they couldn't do it. Right? Like you can look at the. If you're sophisticated enough to do it, you can look at the telemetry of any device. You can see where all the incoming and outgoing signals are going. You can track your phone and see who's like monitoring or what. But like this idea that like the government has unlimited power or that they're somehow like 10 years ahead in technology doesn't make any sense. The government doesn't have the money to do that. Government is
They're
broke
not
as
10
fuck.
years ahead of technology, but they 100% can spy on anybody at any time.
If they can get the government can get a subpoena, and then they can ask or demand private companies to comply with that subpoena, and then depending on the levels of encryption they use, they might be able to read certain private messages. Sure, that's possible, but that's always been the case. You can get a subpoena to go through somebody's fucking mail. You can get a subpoena to go through somebody's house. You can get a subpoena to search somebody's car. Like, that's always been the case. Do you think that, like, private law enforcement shouldn't have the ability to subpoena a company to look at messages? Can you answer that question?
What was the question? The subpoena what?
Let's say that we get a report that a guy is seducing fucking 10-year-olds on Facebook. Do you think that the FBI or the local police should be able to say, hey, Facebook, we've got a big case against this guy. We're going to issue you a subpoena and say, you have to let us look at this guy's private messages to see if he's trying to fuck 10-year-olds on Facebook. Do you think that the government should be able to do that? Or do you think that they shouldn't have the ability to do those types of investigations?
It's not whether they should or should. I don't believe in should or shouldn't. They will.
Well,
if
we
they
got
want
it. Hold
to.
on. That's
they
great
will
for
if they
you.
want to. They will if they want to.
We need to answer that question, because if they shouldn't be able to, then fine, I agree with you. They shouldn't be able to ever subpoena or look at anything.
You thinking you like having like, oh, the government should this or should do that. It doesn't matter because they will if they want to. Us having a debate about it makes no difference. Okay. They will do what they want to do.
I mean, us having a debate about it won't make a difference, but like how the people collectively vote are going to determine how those programs.
Voting is so pointless, yo. It's so in New York. It's 90% Democratic and like this is one of the most populated states. It's the most populated state here, right? New York.
Then vote in your local elections. Vote in your city council.
Okay, you're saying that to me.
No, I agree. Nobody cares.
Nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah, because people are obsessed with the online, like federal level.
No,
shit.
Because ultimately, what matters most is we need money. If we spend time wasting on who's the policy, oh, they're gonna put 3 more cents on the gas, you're wasting your life.
We need money. You're not gonna vote to get more money. I don't know what you're looking for.
So what else do you vote on? What policies else do you vote on?
You vote on important social issues like Supreme Court justices. You might vote on international relationships, on whether or not we fund NATO or not. We might vote on like the size of the military. We might vote on what type of like welfare.
The size of the military. Destiny, they're gonna do what they want regardless. You think they trust us to make decisions for the better of their country? They pick who they want. They pick the laws who they want. They sign it away. Like, did we get a vote on abortion? The Supreme Court did. We have no decision over that.
You literally vote for the guy that nominates people to the Supreme Court. What do you mean?
Bro, there's probably 3 people in this chat who knows who ran for Supreme Court.
No. When you vote for the president is the one that picks Supreme Court people, right?
Exactly.
If you vote for a liberal president, then you're probably
and you're also saying that when you get elected, you just say things to get elected, right? So they might say this stuff like that, but they're gonna pick the people on Supreme Court who give them more money, who they have at the fucking lake house parties, who's flying out to the private island and touching kids, who's blackmailing who. That's who they pick to go on the Supreme Court, not any policy or any, I'm gonna do this and help out this.
The people that are nominated to the Supreme Court usually have huge histories working in the judicial system, and they're usually not rich people that are donating tons of money to get those Supreme Court nominations. And even if they were, there's a good thing. We don't have to trust the president about it. The Senate has to confirm who the Supreme Court pick is. So there's a whole other branch of government.
Okay, you're saying there's 10 people who pick someone who decides on a law. Doesn't that sound so fucking nonsensical to you? That there's 10 different fucking people picking? Your vote doesn't do anything.
It's not. I think you have a
No, what did you just say? You said, okay, the president picks the
hold
Senate.
on. You have a fundamental misunderstanding of how some parts of government work, okay? That's what I'm saying right now.
Yeah, no, you know more about government than me. So, like, yeah, you're smart. But, like, okay, how does the Supreme Court get picked? You vote for a guy, and then he picks guys, and then he picks some other guys. That's no power, Destiny. Voting is pointless.
So you think that unless we have a direct democracy where we directly vote on every single policy, then
that's a democracy, yes.
Okay. That's just not true, but I don't know.
Then why don't they let us do that? Why can't we all vote on when weed gets legal? Why do we let those fucking white people in charge pick when weed's legal?
Because we don't have the time as citizens to go to the poll and vote on every single thing.
Why don't they just make a voting app? Why is there not just an app?
Voting
yes,
app?
no, vote, yes.
Because then all the people that accuse our election system of being rigged are going to be 20 times more likely to accuse it of being rigged if we're all voting on a fucking app. These people don't even trust their iPhones not to be top of the FBI. So you trust mail-in ballots? You think they're going to be
mail-in ballots?
I trust a paper ballot more than I do a fucking phone ballot.
More than technology in 2022, mailing in ballots is a better way to accurately get everybody to vote.
If you want to change 1 million votes in a database, that might be a single MySQL command to do it. If you want to change a million paper ballots, do you know how many different steps of government you got to fuck with? How many different people you got to rope in to change their vote? How many people
online banking? Your whole identity is on your phone. You have online banking, your profile. It would be so easy to vote online. So easy. They don't do it because they don't care about our votes because it's meaningless.
How do you trust technology so much that you would vote for it, but then in the previous breath you were telling me
You
that the
trust it
FBI and
enough.
the
You have a
police-
banking app on your phone. Everybody has a banking app on your phone. That's your whole money. That's your life. Your life is on your phone.
Some things are easier to do on phones than others. Banks are easier to handle on phones than fucking voting.
They have Amber Alert. Everybody gets an Amber Alert for when a kid's running around.
It's a fundamentally different type of thing. Voting versus like apps for banks.
So we're never going to be able to vote on our phones. That should have been a thing since 2016.
That's never.
What's the
gonna be a
reason?
thing.
What's the reason?
For the reason I just told you, a single person could change a command in a database and flip 10,000 votes.
And you
It's
could also
really hard.
burn a bunch of mail-in ballots like what happened in the last election.
First of all, that didn't happen. But also, listen to what you just said. What do you think is easier, changing 1 million votes in a database or burning 1 million ballots? 1 million paper ballots that you've got to get a hold of. How many different people need to be involved in that versus one guy fucking with a database, one engineer, one data engineer?
I mean, they're already spying on every person's phone. I feel like it's not that hard. I feel like it's not that hard to see. It should be that. It should be us voting. If there was real democracy, it'd be like, hey, do you want weed to be legal? Yes or no? Every citizen gives their opinion and it changes. If we had real democracy, they would ask everybody, should we be able to kill babies? Yes or no? And then everyone decides. Instead, it's a bunch of fucking white people in a room that nobody knows, and they pick for us.
You run like a YouTube channel where you talk about things, right?
Yeah.
Why? What's the point? If you think that
it's
nobody
entertainment.
Can change anything,
entertainment.
That's it. All of your advice is just entertainment. You don't care if people actually follow it or listen to it or not. That's at the end of the day.
And also, I stick to truth. I try to get to truth.
Wait. Hold on.
Videos.
I don't believe you. I don't think you believe yourself when you say that. When you say it's just entertainment, when you speak, you.
I love bread.
There is so much good bread in France.
And although man doth not live by bread alone, without it a meal seems incomplete.
On every corner, there is a bakery that is pumping out delicious, fresh, well-made bread.
It's so fresh.
This is not easily available to me, and I want to know why. Why is it that the bread that I can get easily looks very, very different? Why is it that the US sucks at making bread? In fact, let me just show you what that looks like.
Okay, wait, it's 12 hours earlier, still back in the US?
Phenomenon in the US, and that's what I want to talk about today. Any video from Paris
illegal in the EU.
Back to France, let's do it.
There's nothing more American than Wonder Bread. I'm going to France.
In case you're wondering, yes, any video from Paris must include music like this. Nice, gentle cafe accordion music. There's my composer Tom making it right now.
It's pretty cool.
It's just so good. Okay, so yeah, we know that France is good at bread and the US sucks at it. Is this just another video where I shit on the USA for being terrible at certain things? Yes, it is. It's exactly what it is. But hear me out, I actually have something to say here. I believe that bread is a really important symbol for a bigger cultural phenomenon in the US, and that's what I want to talk about today. Where industrialized bread came from, why it exists, and how some people are trying to change it. I'll get to that explanation, but first I'm going to go into that bakery over there and buy myself a large ball of butter and flour stuffed with chocolate. Oh, and Tom, can you throw in a beat to this accordion music, please?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Any questions?
Yes. Are you going to finish that croissant?
Oh, yeah. Pause. My job is to make videos for you. And the reason I'm able to do that is because there are brands that support years of history of bread and its chemistry and why it's so important. Don't think I can do it in under a minute? Check this out. 12,000 years ago, humans realized that they could plant this grass instead of just foraging for it. This grass was called wheat, and when it was ground up with a stone, it made this powder that, if you put water with it, creates this stretchy, goopy thing that has a bunch of sugar from the flour that's been released. Oh look, wow. All the bacteria in the air love this sugary goop. Nice. And they descend to feast on it, burping out gas as they eat. Whoa, the gas can't float up into the air because it's getting trapped in this stretchy ball of goop, like a balloon, like a pillow, like magic.
magic.
All this feasting and burping is making it rise and turn into a pillowy thing that is way bigger than it was. Put this blob next to some fire, and all of the little bubbles that were just created turn hard. Wait, all of this can happen because of this one grass? Yes. Cool, let's plant a lot more of this grass and build all of human civilization off of it, said humans. So that is bread, like the oldest and most important prepared food item that humans have ever invented. Eventually, humans got really good at doing this bread, flour, water, yeast thing, and especially here in France, they took it really seriously and have created a whole culture around making bread delicious and amazing. And you can see that they've continued that culture today just by the number of bakeries that exist in this city. There are 30,000 independent bakeries in France. Compare that to the 3,000 that are in the United States. And then remember that the US has like a much larger population. And if you do all the math, you see that France has 50 times more bakeries per capita than the United States. 50 times. I mean, that is such a clear indication of how much they value good bread that is baked a certain way.
Here with Mr. Local over here, eating local French food in France.
Yes. 94% of Parisians live less than 5 minutes away from a bakery. And that shows you they care. They care. It's like you hear stuff like that and you're like, this is their priority.
Yeah, yeah.
And the culture of eating is just as much important here as how like the ingredients are sourced and prepared and whatnot.
Yeah.
People don't eat while rushing towards their next meeting or whatever. Like it's very much, no, you sit down, you make it a thing. It's just a part of the way of life here.
Yeah.
People come into the boulangeries almost on a daily basis and they check in with each other. It's like, hey, how you doing? You know, I'm doing great. This is what's happening.
Why? That is the question. Why are these bread cultures so different? And the answer comes down to what America was founded on. I mean, a reminder that America is a country founded by a bunch of people who left their country to go make a new life, to do things differently, to do things more individualistically. And the way that expressed itself for a really long time was mechanization, industrialization. And to be clear, in the history, Britain was as much to blame for all of this mechanizing of bread as America was.
That's insulting.
But anyway, we're talking about the USA for a little bit. So by the 1920s, you had this machine that was invented, an automatic bread slicer. Hello, convenience, innovation, America. No more serrated knife versus a tough, crusty loaf. Now the machine will do it for you. This is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Oh, so that's where we're at. This is the greatest thing, says America. And Europe was like, wait, yeah, we like machines too, but like not for bread. Slice this bread and you make your bread spoil faster. We don't need a machine for sliced bread. But the automatic slicer was just the beginning for America.
No, I'm just getting warmed up.
Now that we have sliced bread that, yes, spoils faster, let's make it, I don't know, not spoil as fast. One way to do this is to take the part of the wheat berry that has oils in it, the husk and the bran, and get rid of it. Focus on the big, carb-loaded berry in the middle. But there had to be a more industrial solution to make the bread last longer, to be whiter, to be softer. And it's the 1950s, and Europe is like, whoa, dude, America, chill out. Like, bread is just bread. We've been doing this for literally tens of thousands of years. Let's just, like, stick to the program. And America's like, no. So America starts adding all of this stuff to their bread, bleaches and dough conditioners. And suddenly they're putting their bread into controlled chambers so that it will be hot enough to rise faster. And they're putting preservatives in so that their bread can now sit on a shelf for not just 1 or 2 days like it should, but 4 days, 5 days, 6 days, a whole week, and it's still soft. It is still white. It is still spongy and delicious. But it now has 15 ingredients instead of 3. And it's cheap and convenient and stable, and America is loving this, and Europe is like, whoa. You took this way too far. This is not bread anymore. And indeed, I would argue that this is not bread anymore. This is a bread-like substance. It's a different product made from a different process, and yet we use the same word for it. If you want to know more about what's inside of this kind of bread, I was actually here making this video when I stumbled upon a video from from one of my favorite YouTubers, Adam Ragusia. That's like a deep dive into all of the ingredients in this kind of industrial bread. Definitely go check it out. Some bread in the US has taken it so far that they will put in additives that keep it spongy and soft, or that keep it really white, even though these additives are known to like cause cancer and inflame asthma and do all of these terrible things. Many of these additives that are legal to be put in American bread are literally illegal in Europe and many other countries. Azodicarbonamide is one of them. This is a whitening agent. But you know what? This product